This video is dedicated to Big Gator. Big Gator was very unhappy about the last video because he wanted me to watch this video. I had recorded these in a sequence and I put the other one out first, but he wanted this one first. And anyway, here we are. So I specially recorded this one for you, Big Gator. I appreciate you. Don't ever think that I don't appreciate it. Again, with everybody, if you have requests, leave them in the comments. I do go through and I find videos and then I put them in my watch later thing so we can react to them. So yeah, sorry. I didn't realize that this one needed to go first. Anyway, without further ado, let's check out Cadia by Templin Institute. Really like the graphics and the way they do things here on their channel. This is like stellar. Maybe one
Thanks
day
to
I could
Skillshare
do
for
the same
sponsoring this investigation into the fortress world of Cadia. The first
Skillshare.
500 people to use the link in the description will receive 2 free months of Skillshare's online classes. In the region of Imperial space designated Segmentum Obscurus, there lies an anomaly that has come to be known as the Eye of Terror. It is an enormous rift, a permanent storm in the fabric of reality that for 11,000 years has provided a gateway to the nightmarish realm of the warp.
So the Eye of Terror, that happened because of the Eldar creating Slanesh, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know if I'm right. I think that's it, but I'm not really sure.
Inside is a dimension of madness and despair, where skies weep blood, ancient stars burn in multicolored flares, and the whims of the dark gods hold sway. Since the time of the Horus Heresy, the forces of chaos that reside within have attempted to break out from the Eye of Terror and strike at the millions of worlds that lay beyond. Only one thing has stood in their path: a fortress world that guarded the only navigable route to the Eye of Terror, a place where time and time again the servants of the dark gods would break against the greatest defenders of man. It was a planet known as Cadia, and it was here above all that the bloody work of the Imperium was done. A terrestrial world closely resembling Holy Terra before the age of the Imperium, Cadia was marked by great oceans, temperate plains, windswept moors, and towering mountains.
So this planet is like right next to the Eye of Terror. Okay. It looks really nice, at least this picture. I'm assuming it's not going to look nice.
Cadia was colder than most civilized worlds, yet not enough to impede the planet's settlement. It was famous across the galaxy for its sparkling glaciers and thick pine forests. It was the planet's network of strange black monoliths that remained Cadia's most enduring mystery, however, known across the galaxy as the Cadian Pylons. When precisely Cadia was first colonized has been lost to antiquity, but in the decades before the Horus Heresy, it had become inhabited by a primitive race of violet-eyed humans.
Wait, violet-eyed humans. So there must have been somebody living there, like we found it, humans found it, conquered it, and then that must be like their change in order to adapt to the climate and the planet itself, right? Why is that the one feature that they mention? I guess, what does that help them do? Let's see if they actually say anything to us about that.
Who worshipped the Chaos Gods. The Word-Bearers Legion and their Primarch, Lorgar Aurelian, was the first to re-establish contact with Cadia, but whatever transpired in these initial meetings might never be known. Lorgar ordered the cyclonic bombardment of the planet, wiping out the native Cadians and whatever secrets they possessed.
Okay. Lorgar, though, he doesn't. Yeah, he likes worshiping chaos, or maybe not at this point. I know he does or did because he was trying to worship the emperor, but the emperor was pissed off about it and said, "No, don't do that." So, because they're chaos worshippers, he just bombed the planet, which makes sense. Get rid of all of it, right? It's not good. But it's just interesting to me that he's the one who did it when eventually he could care less, right?
With the end of the Horus heresy, the word-bearers and their other traitor legions fled to the Eye of Terror to heal their wounds and nurture their hatred. Black crusades mounted across the galaxy from the Eye of Terror convinced the Imperium that Cadia was of vital strategic importance, and settlers were sent to the world to claim it in the name of the Emperor. Cadia was eventually forged into a world worthy of the Imperium, but it was learned at great cost that the planet would forever be threatened, and its entire society would have to reflect that. Its earliest cities were constructed in the traditional style emulating Holy Terra, but the broad avenues and ordered urban grids favored any attacking force, and sweeping changes were enacted. Cadia could not afford any distinction between its fortresses and cities. Streets were constructed in such a way as to disorient any potential invader, arrayed in zigzag patterns that would force an enemy to fight for every block. Bastions and local garrisons were stationed in every corner and spire that possessed a commanding view, while at the heart of every city was an enormous fortification known in the local dialect as a casser. From the air, these resembled intricate puzzles, which could be held for months, if not years, even if the surrounding city had been taken.
Sorry, I was really wrapped up in the artwork there for a second. So, they built it to look like Holy Terra, but obviously that wouldn't have worked very well for an invading attack, which I'm assuming they already know. Like, we're going to get attacked a lot because we're right next to the Eye of Terror. So, switching everything around, trying to make it hard as hell to attack, that's a smart move. It's a very, very smart move. Make your enemies have to really work to get that. Gideon seemed badass.
Its people were no different than its buildings, reorganized into a society wholly devoted to the defense of their world. Every Cadian was taught the skills necessary to become a soldier from the moment they could walk. Tactical doctrine was prioritized above basic literacy, and every citizen was required to serve at least a 4-year term in the planet's military before either becoming a career soldier or instead joining Cadia's military-industrial complex.
Wow.
Even the wealth.
So that's like almost like modern day Israel, which, whatever, we're not going to get into things that are happening there, but most of their citizens have to go into the military when they reach a certain age just to, learn how to defend Israel and then defend Israel for a while, and then a new generation takes their place if they don't want to stay in the military. It's like always having a backup, like a reserve force that you're just building up, building up, building up. That's cool. And it makes sense as well, just because of all the attacks that could and probably do happen. But trying to hold them back from literacy and like basic understanding of things. I mean, as soon as you can walk, you're learning how to be a soldier. That's hardcore. That's hardcore for sure.
Wealthy and successful elite wore clothing reminiscent of the camouflage patterns issued to the lowliest guardsmen. The famed Cadian shock troops were widely regarded as the best soldiers in the Imperial Guard, and some of the most well-equipped. Regiments either formed on Cadia or those emulating its style and doctrine could be found across the entire galaxy. Cadian equipment, in particular, was so ubiquitous that it was nearly the standard of the entire Astra Militarum. For millennia, the planet stood as an unshakable foundation that challenged the will of the dark gods themselves. Every invasion was shattered, and every Black Crusade was repelled. But in the 999th year of the 41st millennium, Cadia was finally broken. Abaddon the Despoiler, greatest champion of chaos since Horus himself.
I was gonna say, they just said greatest champion of chaos. I thought Horus was. So the little bit I do know about Abaddon, right, from the books that I've read that he's in, he kind of seems like an asshole. Like, kind of, this was before even chaos. He seemed like a massive man. He's wearing Terminator armor. Loves to fight. So they didn't go into like his backstory in the first one when we first meet him during the heresy. He's just strictly, one of Horus's, what the hell was it? Inner Circle. They had a specific name, Mournival, part of the Mournival, along with not Garo. He's in, you're following Garville Loken. There it is, Garville Loken. Holy shit, that took me a minute. Garville Loken was part of the Mournival as well, along with Little Horus. He supposedly looked like Horus, like the original one. They had such similar facial structures and yada yada. Long story short, long-winded thing. I don't really like Abaddon. Even before he turned to heresy, I didn't really like him. He was kind of an asshole. Kind of a real big asshole.
Launched the 13th Black Crusade. In the opening moments, elements of the Planetary Guard turned traitor, assassinating Cadia's high command, its governor, and Lord Castellan. A reformed defense now under the command of Ursarkar E. Creed were able to...
He's in Tacticus. I don't have him yet, but I gotta fight him at some point soon. So how did they turn to chaos? Some of the inner circle of the Militarum turned to chaos. There has to be a good story to that one. Either that was kind of a long time coming, or something crazy happened. I'm really interested to figure that out now.
Contain this initial assault, but the Black Crusade was just beginning. In orbit of the planet, an enormous Chaos Armada traded blows with the warships of Battlefleet Cadia, all while reinforcements swept across Cadia's skies before joining in battle against the planet's beleaguered defenders. Mysteriously, it was not the famous fortress cities of Cadia that appeared to be Abaddon's primary target, but rather the large network of pylons, particularly those within the Elysian Fields. What precisely happened there can only be guessed at, but some claim that for a brief moment, servants of the Imperium working with ancient Xenos managed to activate the Cadian pylons. The forces of chaos were seemingly cut off from the warp.
That is cool. So then we've got angels and demons. Why are there angels? Why is there a person with wings? I know that one of the Primarchs does. Like Sanguinius, he has wings. What's going on with... So in the Horus Heresy books, I can't remember her name. I'm not going to sit here and just wait. We'll figure it out. Euphrates something, maybe. No. It doesn't matter. But she's like a... they're calling her a saint. She's got such belief in the or she has such belief in the Emperor. So it's kind of he can just turn people into angels and be divine. Is that what this is? I'm so confused by that whole thing. It's like he doesn't want to be a god, but he can give people like special powers and stuff because they believe in him so hard. I'm confused. I know a lot of this is Catholic in origin, or like not centered around, but really heavily taken from. So I get that, but like some of that some of the story is just like why he doesn't want to be worshipped as a god, but now we've got angels and stuff, and he's giving people powers, and it's just very strange.
And even the Eye of Terror was said to shrink.
Hmm.
By the order of Abaddon, however, an enormous black stone fortress struck Cadia with the force of an artificial meteor. The planet's continents were split apart, its ancient forests burned away. The few who managed to evacuate the dying world bore witness not only to the destruction of Cadia, but to the expansion of the Eye of Terror across the entire galaxy. With the fall of Cadia, the forces of chaos had won a victory that for millennia had been almost unimaginable. Tendrils of the warp have split the galaxy in two, and there is little doubt that the Imperium has entered the time of ending. But the ultimate triumph...
The time of ending. So they broke the planet. The time of ending is near. What the hell does that mean? They're just going to take over the chaos is going to take over everything? Is that what that is getting at? The Emperor won't let that happen.
Of Abaddon the Despoiler still eludes him.
Well, maybe he would. I don't
The
know.
fall of Cadia has awakened
He is just a corpse.
something in the Imperium more powerful than even its greatest fortress. A hunger for retribution has swept across every world, and Cadia has become a martyr whose memory has spurred humanity to ever greater feats of valor. If a creature like Abaddon is still capable of experiencing even a tinge of fear, then he must be haunted by the fact that in destroying Cadia, he has added 1 trillion fallen saints to the highest pantheon of the Imperium. For even as the planet split apart and its shattered remnants were consumed by the Eye of Terror, the red streaks of firing lasguns could still be seen in the darkness. Defenders of Cadia refusing to give in, even as their world cracked and burned around them. From their sacrifice has arisen a new battle cry, one shouted in hatred from the Arctic steppes of Valhalla to the deadly jungles of Catachan. A simple phrase that ensures the memory of Cadia will remain for as long as humanity endures. The planet broke before the guard.
That's fucking badass. Sorry. That is badass. Even when the Eye of Terror was sucking the planet in, they were still firing, still going. Cadia's badass soldiers right there.
Thanks again.
Wow. That is awesome. Holy shit. So Cadians are badass. They held that planet for a long, long time. Man. The planet broke before the guard did. I don't even know what to say. Those Cadians, so the Cadians, the original Cadians, gone. Added new Cadians because it was important to hold that thing. Raised their children, their offspring, to be soldiers from the day they could walk. Didn't teach them much else. And they're just like hardcore. They were all about stopping any attacks. Damn Abaddon. I don't like that guy. Don't like him at all. What an a-hole. So that is very exciting. Those guys are hardcore. Cadians are badass. Cadia stands. Did not fall. Oh, so badass. Anyway, thanks again for watching. If you like this, like the video, comment, subscribe, all that fun jazz. Catch you in the next one.